and welcome to Smartboard Basics for Beginners. My name is Angel. Welcome to my classroom. In the first part of this tutorial, we're going to talk about the hardware of the actual smartboard. It's made up of several things. You have a computer that the smartboard is hooked to. You have a projector. You have the actual board itself, and then you have the markers and the eraser. There are a few things that you need to know about your smartboard. The first thing is that if this green light over on the left-hand side of your smartboard is lit, that means your smartboard is on and it's connected to your computer. If your projector is mounted to the ceiling, you won't have to align it as much. It's more stable. Some people have their projector on a cart, and it will be a little bit different than what I'm about to show you. One thing you need to know about your smartboard is that when you touch your smartboard, the cursor meets your finger. Now, if your cursor doesn't meet your finger for some reason, especially if your projector is on a cart, then what you need to do is press the two buttons on the front of your smartboard at the same time. That brings up a screen that looks like this. This is called the calibration screen. To calibrate your smartboard, all you have to do is take your finger and stick it in the center of that plus sign and press and release. One thing that I found to be really helpful, instead of trying to chase around the little plus sign, is to put your finger on the board, press down, drag it to the plus sign, and lift up. That gives you a more precise calibration. It's especially helpful if you're short like me and have a hard time reaching your board. The next part of your smartboard are the different pens and the eraser. These pens work just like regular markers on a whiteboard, except they won't write on your hands, they'll only write on the smartboard. You can't use regular markers on the smartboard. There are 4 colors that come with the smartboard. There are black, red, green, and blue. You can change the color of those later on. To be able to tell which marker you're using, you pick up the marker and a light will show in the marker tray at the bottom. Now, this one is black, but the smartboard doesn't recognize the actual marker. It only recognizes that there's something there. So the last marker I picked up is red. Even though the black is in my hand, I picked up the red, so the red is the thing that it will write with. You can also pick up a marker and put the marker in the eraser tray, and you can write with the eraser. This is really helpful if you teach younger grades and the kids are having a harder time holding the markers. Some of them can get a better grip on the eraser. So that's pretty much it for your smartboard hardware. Next, we're going to move into creating a smartboard file. Great, so your smartboard is set up. Now you want to know how to use it to create great lessons to engage your class. The smartboard itself is really just an interactive tablet. It's very much like an iPad or a smart tablet of any kind. Anything that you do on the smartboard will be sent to your computer. It will register your movements, and basically your hand works as a mouse. So anything that's on your computer is projected up here. Be wary of that if you have children in your classroom and you're checking your email or something like that. You might want to turn your projector off while you're doing that so that they don't see anything. The first thing that you need to know is how to create a smartboard file if you want to present a lesson to the class. And the way that we do that is through the Smart Notebook software. I happen to have Smart Notebook 10 on my computer. It's not the latest version of the software, but it's the version that my school has. Your software may be a different version, either earlier or later, but they'll be very similar. Okay? On your desktop, there will be an icon. Looks like a little blue rectangle or square, and it has a notebook in it. So just double click that icon and the Smart Notebook software will open. Sometimes Smart Notebook can be a little tricky and it does have quite a few glitches, but overall it's a really good tool to use in your classroom. And once you play around on it for a little while, it actually becomes pretty easy. My recommendation when building a smartboard file and learning how to use Smart Notebook is, first of all, take a file that someone else has created and dissect it so that you know exactly what's happening there. That's the best way to learn. Okay, Smart Notebook is open. You might notice as I'm filming the projector is shining down on me and everything is projected onto my face. This can get a little annoying, and you get used to the lights and the things, so it's just something you have to overcome. I apologize for that during filming. So here the Smart Notebook has opened. We've created a new Smartboard file. This is very similar to any kind of Microsoft Word, any of those applications where you have your menu bar up here. Now if I want to save this, I can go and do that. I can even print to a document if I wish. In this section, I'll show you some more advanced things that you can do with your Smartboard. Let's get rid of this page that we have with Shakespeare on it so that we can have a nice clean slate. So I'm going to create a new page, and it's really easy for you to move between pages by coming here to your page sorter, and you can choose what you want to do. Now there are some really nice tools that you can use. For instance, the image capture feature. The image capture feature lets you go to any website or any other document or even your desktop and choose a portion of that to bring back into your Smartboard file. I really like this if I need a picture of a specific place or maybe a specific animal, or maybe I'm using a book and I want to bring in the book cover. So I'm going to go to my Internet Explorer and just have this open. Oh, and there's a connection problem, but that's easy enough to fix. We're still going to use that anyway. I bring up my image capture box. My image capture box has a few options. You can capture just a portion, you can capture whole pages, or you can do this free draw capture, which is nice if you have an image that's not exactly square, or maybe you need just a portion of another image, and that's kind of difficult to use. You have to kind of figure it out. But for now, we're just going to keep that. I'm going to bring back up the page that I want to capture, and I just want to capture maybe this little world portion of it. So I'm going to click on this portion capture. I don't want it to capture to a new page, a different page, so I'm going to keep it on the function it is now. Now you'll notice this little cross that comes up. I can bring my finger over and capture over whatever it is I want, and then I can release, and you can see that it's saving it to my Smart Notebook. I can come back down here to my Smart Notebook, and now I have a world. If I change my background on this page, you'll notice that there's a big white spot on my world. Maybe I don't want a big white square around my world. And you'll notice if you capture something small and you drag it big, it becomes really pixelated. If you captured something big and you make it small, it's not so pixelated, so be careful when you're doing that. One thing that you can do to get rid of the white space is to come back to this little arrow that brings up your menu and go to Set Picture Transparency. This is one of my favorite tools. Set Picture Transparency makes it so that you can take any part of this image and get rid of a certain color. So if I choose this white color, I'm going to get rid of all of this white. Sometimes this works out really well, sometimes it doesn't, and you have to kind of work with it until you can get it like you want. So if I choose that white space, you notice now I just have the world. I press OK, and all of that's gone. Now, it's not exactly perfect. It just really depends on the picture and what you're trying to capture. So that's one thing that you can do that's a little bit more advanced. A nice thing that you can use if you don't want your students to see all parts of the file, you can come up here and choose the screen shade option. It looks like a little window shade. Now, it brings up this screen to hide part of your window. You can see that there are little pull buttons here, or you can get rid of the whole thing. You can pull to the side, you can pull it down, or you can get rid of it altogether. That's nice if you have maybe a set of directions that you only want to reveal a portion at a time. If you have this hooked up, you can hook it up to a document camera, and you can actually show what's happening on your document camera through Smart Notebook. You have your magic pen, which students really love to use. You can bring that up, press on your magic pen, write something, and if you wait, it will disappear. Very cool. You can fill different items by using your paint bucket. You can choose different colors for lines and textiles. You can also use tools like protractors and rulers. So if I drag out a ruler, I can measure different objects. I can also use it as a straight edge, and no matter where I have my marker, it's going to stay on that ruler, which is really fun. Rulers are objects just like pictures, so they have the gray drop-down box just the same. Notice I'm clicking delete. Another way that you can do that is you can press that red X right there. You have protractors that you can use. You can use these to measure different angles. They're really a lot of fun. Now maybe I want to create a 90-degree angle. I can press my green arrow and I have a 91-degree angle. I can draw tables in Smart Notebook. If I select a table, I can do that and one is created. I can add screen shades to it. I can make it different colors. Maybe I want it filled. I am not a big fan of the tables function in this, but I do use it sometimes. One thing that's really nice is adding a table shade. This is really great for graphing, and I just did that by dropping down my gray arrow and saying table shade. Now, when you touch one of these little boxes, it lights it up and it gets rid of the shade, just like the screen shade that there was a minute ago. So that's the basics of your smartboard. There are so many other things that you can do with your smartboard. One of my recommendations is to go to the Smart website. To get there very easily from here, come over to your tab, go to your Gallery tab, and then you can go to Online Resources and Smart Learning Marketplace. Now, because it's the summertime, this computer's not hooked up to the internet. But if I was able to, I could click here, and there would be a link to the Smart website. On the Smart website, you can download files that other users have created. You can upload your own files. And there are even tutorials that you can use. Good luck and happy teaching.